It is yet again another long court proceedings as prosecution take their cross-examination into day 2 of Mr. Richard Jakpa, who has made several allegations against the personality of the Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame. And today's cross-examination was very interesting, interspersed with a lot of argument, a lot of caution from the judge, especially so when Mr. Richard Jakpa is not responding to the questions as prosecution will wish. In fact, so many points were made, the lawyers have to make interjections as and when it is required. But in effect, today's cross-examination focused on meetings held between Mr. Richard Jakpa, the Attorney General, the number of messages. In fact, the prosecution had alleged that Mr. Richard Jakpa in all sent 68 text messages to the Attorney General, and out of that, only 2 of them were answered. Mr. Richard Jakpa clarified that it is not up to that amount of messages that they requested for. They were making argument in relation to that. He also pointed out several instances where the allegation that he was the one that initiated the meeting with the Attorney General. In fact, he said that the Attorney General promised him a whole lot, to the extent that at one point in time, he was promised that he was going to be discharged at a submission of no case. He said no. The court immediately called on him to open his defense. All these things made him declare a war on the Attorney General, and he says that anything that would take his liberty away, he's going to fight to the end, the last drop of his blood, to fight the Attorney General in relation to that. So very interesting court sitting, very interesting conversation, very interesting answers coming from Mr. Richard Jakpa. This has opened the door for the Attorney General Department to say that they will still require some more time to be able to subject Mr. Richard Jakpa to further cross-examination. We'll be speaking to the Deputy Attorney General, question as to whether they have made their expectation, whether they have made their case as far as this cross-examination is concerned.
We've been putting across our case. We started on Tuesday. Today we came to continue. You were in court. We showed some documents to him just to ensure that he answers certain questions. I think the proceeding for today has met our expectations. We tendered what we had on our phone, 100%. If he has others, he knows what to do, because he's still in the box.
Felix Kwashi Ofosu explained the circumstances with which Mr. Richard Jakpa has been answering the question. For them, there is no case for which the accused persons ought to be called upon to open their defense.
At the onset of the cross-examination today, Mr. Jakpa's lawyers raised issues with the authenticity of the so-called 68 messages that the prosecution says were exchanged between the Attorney General and Mr. Jakpa. They contended that some of the messages did not add up to the numbers. Indeed, Mr. Jakpa himself recounted that he does not believe that the messages, including those that were deleted and recordings of phone conversations, would add up to 68, as the AG side claims. The judge said that that should be left to her to decide on when she came to consider the totality of the case in her judgment.
Before the sitting proceeded, the court admitted into evidence the Attorney General's version of a WhatsApp conversation he had with Mr. Richard Jakpa. Lawyers of Mr. Richard Jakpa indicated that that particular WhatsApp chat brought by the Attorney General was not complete, but the court said it will be admitted, same as Mr. Richard Jakpa's own was admitted, because he said that he brought only relevant portions that will support his case. From the Law Court Complex here in Accra, Mutala Inusa, GHOne.